Stephanie.
And I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk to you about the best fast passes to get at the Disney World theme parks.
So how fast passes work is pretty unique to Disney World. In the Disney World app, you go ahead and pull it up and you can pick your fast passes for that day. If you stay in the parks, you get 60 days before your vacation to pick your fast passes, and the sooner you pick them, definitely the better, because they go fast for some of the rides.
So you start with 3 fast passes at a park for a day, and once you use those 3 passes, you can access the app again and get more fast passes after that, one at a time, until they don't have any more fast passes. So the trick is try to use those 3 fast passes early enough so that way once those are gone, then you can get your fast passes for later. Of course, you want to get the big fast passes first, meaning the rides that are the most popular. That way you can get to those and get those out of the way, and maybe you can even get a fast pass for those great rides again later, so you can ride those great rides twice.
And that's why we're here today, so we can talk about what we feel are the top 3 in all 4 parks. Right. Now at Disney World, there are 4 different parks, and you can buy park hopper passes and go to different parks in a day, but you can only have fast passes at one park that day. When you do get to pick your fast passes, like we said, if you're staying in the parks, it's 60 days. If you're not staying in the parks, it's 30 days before. But when you do pick them, you pick them by time slot. And you can only have so many fast passes within, I think it's a half hour to 45-minute time. So we suggest that, 1, you get there at the parks right at rope drop. No matter what time the parks open, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., you got to get there right at that time, so then sometimes you can hit some of these bigger rides first before the crowds even start. And we suggest starting your fast passes at about 10 a.m.
10, 11.
Yeah. That really works the best, because then you're hitting all the rides before.
Yeah, and I would try to have my 3rd fast pass done by 2, maybe.
Yeah.
It gives quite a bit of time to find more later, and if you want to park hop, then you can get a fast pass for another park later, because you can only get the fast passes within 1 park per day.
I guess we'll just start park by park and go through.
Sure thing.
So first we'll start with the Magic Kingdom.
It's definitely more family oriented. It doesn't have a lot of your thrill rides, but there are a lot of really fun ones, and ones that are definitely worth checking out. So here's our 3 biggest ones.
So our first one is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's a roller coaster that has to do with Snow White. It's one of the newer rides, so it is one of the most popular in Magic Kingdom, and it is kind of hard to get a fast pass for, so if you can, you're very fortunate. If you can't, we do suggest hitting that one very first on rope drop.
You want to go to the right side of the castle, of course. If you're looking at the castle, you want to go to the right side. Not all the way towards Tomorrowland, but there's another path right in between there.
Our second fast pass is Space Mountain in Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
It is a roller coaster that is all enclosed, and it is in the dark, so it's very cool. I know they've been having some issues with it lately, with it breaking down, and lines have been getting ridiculous, but it still is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Space Mountain typically will have one of the top 2 longest waiting times in Magic Kingdom. Well, maybe top 3 if you include Peter Pan. I think a big issue with Space Mountain, why it takes so long, is they have such limited seating in the ride itself at a time. Definitely number 2 in our fast pass list for Magic Kingdom.
Number 3 is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This is another roller coaster. If you're not a fan of roller coasters, you may not like these, but they're really not that intense.
Big Thunder Mountain, in my opinion, is definitely a tamer one, and it's more of a family-oriented one. It still has enough thrill to make the ride fun and exciting, but it's not so bad that you're going to want to throw up at the end, or you're going to feel a lot of vertigo, and you're going to feel pretty good coming off of it. It's just a fun little ride, and it's got neat little things to look at while you're going through it.
And I'm pretty sure all 3 of these roller coasters have height requirements for kids as well. All right, and then we do have some honorable mentions that, if you get into the park fast and you hit that mine train and you have other fast passes that you could get instead, we would suggest Splash Mountain. It's a classic with the big drop at the end.
Yeah, not as thrilling necessarily, but it's still a fun classic. Yeah, you're not going to get really that wet either, in all honesty.
No. Especially if you crouch all the way down.
Yeah.
Like I do. Another honorable mention would be Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. It's a fun one where you go through and you compete against your partner, and
yeah, you shoot little like model target things, and yeah.
And the wait time doesn't tend to be too long for
it's not
that
too
one.
bad.
And
No.
the line moves pretty quickly, so
Yep.
if you can't get a fast pass, then definitely hit it up though.
Otherwise, you know, you have the fun interactive kind of sit and watch the models do thing, kind of haunted house sort of rides. And speaking of which, the Haunted Mansion, that's a great one that you can wait in the long line because it has some interactive things going on in it. But that's one we try to hit up early. The top 2 rides that we recommend not, if you don't have time, or if you're running out of time, you need to skip something. These are the ones we recommend skipping. The first would be Peter Pan's Flight.
Now, it will seem tempting because the wait time is always absolutely ridiculous. But
it's really long. But
actually,
I think that's partly because of the carts that you are put in.
Well, I actually did a little research, and actually the area that they keep people in and the amount of carts that they have is a lot less than most of the rides around there. So the wait time is longer because of that.
They did try to alleviate some of the stress of waiting by adding some little interactive things in one of the areas. This one it's a good one to see once in your life, but you don't need to ever see it again. It's a small world after all. It's a great classic one to check out. The line is typically not long. The ride itself will be longer than the wait time, depending on what time of year you go, of course. But if you're running out of time, you can miss it and be totally fine.
Another one we didn't mention that I also appreciate is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's another, I was talking about the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, it's another one that you could probably just wait in line. I know we've done it a couple times and the line's not crazy usually.
No.
Alright, our next park will be Epcot, which honestly is one of our favorite parks to go to.
The World Showcase is incredible.
And I feel like not many people talk about Epcot's rides, and they kind of forget that there's actually rides there.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot, but the rides they have are all really good. I don't think there's really one that I dislike at Epcot.
Our suggestion, once again, get there right when the park opens and head straight towards Frozen, because we did that one time and we were able to jump on pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think we only had to wait a minute.
And Frozen is in Norway in the World Showcase, so when you get in...
the troll ride used to be there.
When you get into the park, you go to the left
Yep.
and just book it. That's what we
Yep.
did. Don't run, walk fast. Our number 1 ride would be Soarin'. Soarin' Around the World for the whole title. This ride is, I think it's awesome. You sit in this big swing with all the other people in your line, and it goes up and you're in a big screen at you, and it looks like you're just flying around the world.
It's an incredible experience. They put you basically in front of this massive kind of IMAX screen, and you are elevated and moving along with the land flying over it, and you get
there's
the breeze
smells
and mists and
yeah,
it's such a great experience.
And the images, like the images they use at like you see whales and
yeah,
polar
it's
bears
really
and,
high definition, especially for its time. Kind of reminds me of like an OLED.
And you don't have to wear glasses like a lot of the other 3D rides.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Definitely need to get a fast pass for that one though.
Yeah.
I don't think waiting in line is very fun, but it's one I would wait in line for sure.
Yep. And then next we said Frozen already. Yep. Frozen is in Norway, and it's just a sit-through ride, and you see all the characters.
It's very Disney-esque.
Very.
You're just kind of enjoying the ride and watching a lot of the animatronics. Except the animatronics,
they're
kind of going more for the electronic, or not the electronic, like the screens and the virtual reality stuff.
Yeah.
It's like they're like 3D.
You have Anna, Elsa, Olaf, all of them in there.
It's a good thing to sit through and enjoy.
And it's a newer ride, so it is popular still.
Yep.
Our third one is Mission Space. And the thing I like about this ride is you have different experiences, some that are more intense than others, and you can choose that way.
So there's 2 different routes you can go with Mission Space. Yep. So there's a green line and there's an orange line. I have a feeling that the green line's not usually very intense, so you don't need a fast pass for the green line in my opinion. Depends on the day. But the orange line, if you want to ride the ride, I believe the orange line is one you will want a fast pass for. You're feeling like you're being launched and you're floating in space and all this stuff.
You're going to Mars. So.
Yeah. So although it's not, we do admit it's not for everybody. It definitely, to me, is one of the more thrilling experiences for rides at Epcot.
And I feel like it's kind of forgotten about, honestly. Yeah. Our honorable mention is Test Track, which it is pretty fun.
Yeah, you can build your own car at the beginning. It's not really relevant, but it's kind of it's still fun, and You just go kind of fast-ish around a track at one point, and you know, nothing super exciting, but it's still.
And it's not super intense or anything like that. But.
And don't forget to hit up the Three Amigos ride in Mexico, because
Caballeros.
The Three Caballeros, Tres Caballeros, if you're being exact. That's kind of a hidden little gem inside of Mexico.
Next, we're going to talk about Hollywood Studios. Now, Hollywood Studios honestly has been changing a lot since we have been there, even, and that wasn't that long ago. There is a new Toy Story Land. We haven't seen it yet, but we know that ride is ranked pretty popular, and it's called Slinky Dog Dash. We don't really know where to rank it in our list because we haven't been on it, but we know it is one that you would want to get a Fast Pass for. One, it's new, brand new, and two, we've heard it's pretty good. But our number one before all of that was Tower of Terror.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is just one of the funnest rides in Disney. It's such a neat experience getting into the ride and the ride itself and throwing back to the Twilight Zone. So you don't see that sort of nostalgia that's still successful and works. So that is a big reason why Tower of Terror is our number one Fast Pass for that park.
And then next would be Toy Story Mania, which we have been on.
Yeah, that's a fun ride. So it's like the Buzz Lightyear one in terms of your shooting targets and things, but this one's a little different. It's more of a virtual reality setting, and you pull on this string that shoots darts, and you want to try and knock stuff over and hit things. And
you still are on a cart and you still go through, but the screens are like more computer animated.
Yeah, so it scores you just like Buzz Lightyear. But it is a fun, neat experience, and I think you do wear glasses for that.
Yes, you do.
For the 3D effect. So that one is, definitely fun.
For our honorable mention would be Star Tours.
Right. If you're not going to get one of those other three Fast Passes, get Star Tours.
Star Tours, I think, is absolutely worth it. I love that one. And I know they're changing things because they're adding a Star Wars land that is opening in the fall. So I know there will be more Star Wars rides to go along with it.
In terms of the ride to skip, this is going to be very controversial. Rock and Roller Coaster. It's very overhyped. You stand in line for a really long time, and then the roller coaster itself it's not really that thrilling.
So I was there back in the early 2000s, and I really feel like that ride has slowed down over the years. And I know I'm not the only one, because I know it's been a comment.
And if you're going to do the single rider line, I think that's still a thing. Then
it is.
I would go do it for the single rider line, but it's not one to go waste your time standing in line and waste a Fast Pass on. You can do better.
Disney World doesn't have a lot of single rider lines, but yeah, definitely Rock and Roller Coaster is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one's definitely the last on my list.
Otherwise, there really aren't that many rides there as of now, but I know there's more coming. Next is Animal Kingdom, which is our favorite park.
Yeah, we saved this for last because it is our favorite. It seems weird just to end with this, but because it used to be considered the worst of the four parks, but I really think this is our favorite park. And
back in the day, you used to be able to hit Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom all in one day and call it good, but I really think Animal Kingdom is a single day park now.
There's lots to see and lots to do.
So our number one ride is Avatar Flight of Passage. This ride is new within the past year or two.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Here's what I suggest with that. When the park opens, that's the first thing you need to get on. You need to ride that first. Then you use your Fast Pass, or you ride it again, because the line probably won't be super long. So get in line, ride it, get in line again, ride it, and then use your Fast Pass. Yeah, you sit on your Banshee and you put the goggle on, and it's basically like a virtual reality thing. Yeah, this is, to me, the best ride of all the theme parks that we've been to, and especially in Florida. Disney capitalized on this Avatar ride at the right time, with OLED being such a big thing, and this display technology is getting so good that the colors are so vibrant. It might get some sickening to some people if you get motion sickness easy. That I would just ride it maybe once and just check the experience out. So that is one negative about it, but otherwise it's fantastic.
Yeah, and you get the smells and everything, and it like moves in and out. Like the
you're feeling your Banshee breathing. The wait is actually pretty expedited by all the sights that you can see and all the neat things. You see all the labs from Pandora.
There's a lot of scenes throughout the wait line.
Really, really cool.
And Pandora, like the world itself at Animal Kingdom, is spectacular.
It's great to look at.
Our second one would be Expedition Everest. Now this one does have a single rider line, which we have utilized because we like to ride this ride quite a few times when we go. It's a roller coaster. It has the Yeti in it.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely probably the most thrilling roller coaster at all of Disney. Yeah, definitely one I would ride twice. You can ride it as much time as you want, but I would try to ride it a couple times. Once with your fast pass, and then of course with a single rider line, it'd be super simple.
It's definitely one of the prominent scenes when you look at Animal Kingdom, the Mount Everest part of it.
It's especially really cool at night. It's lit up really nicely.
All right, number 3 fast pass would be Dinosaur. Now this ride I feel is kind of forgotten about. Definitely worth a fast pass.
Yeah.
If there's no line for some reason, just jump on it. But it's very cool. You get into like a safari type vehicle.
It's a time machine vehicle you get into. You travel through time, and it has all the cool lights and everything. And then you're trying to get away from dinosaurs. And there's the really big one at the end that chases you down. And it's a really fun ride, and it's pretty intense, especially physically. It jerks you around quite a bit. It's a good time.
And then our honorable mention would be the Navi River Journey. We kind of accidentally got a fast pass for this when we were there last time, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's just a simple ride through, like a lot of the Disney rides are. But the colors are really beautiful, and the animatronics are amazing.
Yeah, it's just a gorgeous setting. And like you said, the animatronics for the Navi at the end are super realistic. It's not a thrill ride by any means, so if that's more your thing, maybe look elsewhere, but still worth it.
A couple other ones we like. I think everybody wants to do the Kilimanjaro Safari.
It's a one-time kind of thing.
Yeah, you just ride through and look at the animals. You
Yep.
know, we always think we're near a pretty great zoo, so we don't necessarily need to do that all the time. But it's cool, like one time. And then Ryan really likes the Kali River Rapid.
I do. You get really wet. So depending on the day and time of year, it's a blast. I obviously wouldn't do it too early, but at least they have like dryers and things and lockers where you can put your stuff in, because they do know you get wet. But it has a good aesthetic to it. It fits the park really nicely, and it's actually fun. Depending on the time of year, you might put that in your top 3 fast passes if it's hotter.
Yeah, don't go 30 degrees and rain like that was pretty miserable.
The last time we went, we got a fast pass for it, and around New Year's, and it was pretty chilly, and it was just cold and raining, and Primeval Twirl's fun still, even though it's an old janky ride.
I think it's Primeval Whirl.
Whirl, Twirl, Swirl, one of those. That's fun. Animal Kingdom is by far our favorite park. There isn't really a bad ride there.
So thank you for enjoying this Disney video with us. We'll try to do more of these. We're not experts by any means on Disney, but we do like to go.
Yeah.
And have been there quite a few times.
Yeah, we know our stuff a little bit. Put something in the comments and let us know if you liked our suggestions. Also, or if you have other suggestions.
Yeah, also add your favorite ride. We'd love to know what other people like as well.
Maybe we're way wrong.
Maybe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. All right. Ready?
I don't know. Are we ready? All right.
You made fun of me, so now I don't know how I should say it. Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Ryan. And that's our cat.
Jeez.